Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemôre, dames and here. Molweni maneni, namaneni kazi. Welcome to the 2021 summer graduation season of Nelson Mandela University. Over these next 2 days, we will celebrate the graduation of 171 masters and doctoral students in what is our first in-person graduation ceremony since the global coronavirus pandemic began for us in March 2020. This alone is reason to celebrate. However, as you will appreciate, we have to celebrate within COVID-19 compliance protocols, which is why we are socially distanced, wearing our masks, and have limited our numbers and spread them out over 2 graduation ceremonies. Apart from adhering to the COVID-19 protocols that you heard earlier, please could we request the following: that the audience please rise when the academic procession enters the hall and remain standing till after the moment of silence, and again at the end of the ceremony after the singing of the national anthem as the academic procession leaves the hall. That you please ensure that your cell phones are on silent, but please do tweet using the hashtag #MandelaGrad and tell all your family and friends that this event is being live streamed. That you do not leave the hall during proceedings out of respect for our graduates and their families who have worked very hard to achieve their postgraduate qualifications. And that you please wear your mask throughout the ceremony. Your safety is our priority, so please comply with this and all other COVID prevention measures. Should you need the bathroom, please head to the back of the hall where ushers will be able to guide you. Please note that in the event of a power failure, we have a standby generator, which will start within a few minutes. We trust that you will enjoy the ceremony. And a hearty word of congratulations to each and every one who is graduating here today, your special day. We'll now await the academic procession. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated.
By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, I hereby constitute this congregation for the purpose of awarding qualifications. Chairperson of Council, Ambassador Nosipo January Bardell, virtually and watching us this morning, members of Council in person and virtual, Vice Chancellor Professor Sibongile Mutwa, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Executive Deans of Faculty, Dean of Students, the Professoriate, members of the Academy, and university staff members, President and members of the Student Representative Council, alumni, university partners, members of the media and stakeholders from government, the faith sector, civil society, communities and business, and most importantly, graduates and your family and friends. Today is actually quite an emotional day for us at Nelson Mandela University. You'd see it slightly overcast outside. It was raining last night. We had much needed rains. And allow me to be a bit sentimental and superstitious this morning and say it's probably Professor Pepeta looking over us and saying, bring the first rains to break this drought. So we need a lot more, Prof, and others in the galaxy of stars. Change the world. That is our rallying cry as the Nelson Mandela University. It is what we call on staff to do each day at work, and what we call on students to do during the course of their studies, and when they graduate successfully from university. And indeed, that is what each of you receiving your master's and doctoral degrees today can and will do. And in so doing, in many instances are already on this journey of doing it. Graduates and members present here today and our digital audience, I wish to thank you for joining us in this new experimental phase of a hybrid graduation ceremony. It's the first time for us to be in this hall in 2 years. And this is part of what we are at Nelson Mandela University as we strive to change the world. The years 2020 and 2021 brought this, our rallying call, into sharp relief as the world changed rapidly around us. A world that has been marked at all levels with alienation. Wouldn't we know as Africans They've tried to lock us down and throw the key away in the name of Omicron, not acknowledging our scientists and the fact that we are bold enough as Africans to step out and present our research in reality for a better world. We've also seen growing inequality in all its facets. We know growing unemployment. We know the challenges presented by COVID-19 with respect to the dichotomy between lives and livelihoods, something that you must overcome. We also understand what vaccine apartheid means as a region and as part of developing world. The reality and the existential challenge of climate change is also what we grapple with. Governance challenges and a lack of public trust. So Nelson Mandela Madiba said, and this is a message I'd want to repeat today, and I quote, "I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being an optimist is keeping one's head pointed towards the sun, one's feet moving forward. There are many dark moments when my faith in humanity was sorely tested, but I would not and could not give myself up to despair. That way lays defeat and death," close quotes. And you graduating because you believe in what Madiba said, and you've lived it to date, and you'll even live it more into the future. And as I mentioned those words, difficult words of Paulo Freire also comes to mind. And I thought that I would mention this today, and I quote, "It is not the unloved who initiate disaffection, but those who cannot love because they love only themselves. It is not the helpless, subject to terror, who initiate terror, but the violent, who with their power create the concrete situation which begets the rejects of life. It is not the tyrannized who initiates despotism, but the tyrants. It is not those whose humanity is denied them who negate humankind, but those who denied that humanity, thus negating their own as well. Force is not used by those who have become weak under the preponderance of the strong, but by the strong who have emasculated themselves," close quotes. I thought it was important for us to just recall these words as we live through the times we do. So as graduates, you have risen to all that 2020 as well, have brought to the fore. You have demonstrated that with commitment, will, and success is possible. And with sheer determination, it's absolutely possible. So again, I call on the words of Mandela that says, "Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that a son of a mine worker can become the head of a mine, that a child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another, close quotes. Yesterday, on arrival from Gauteng, I went to the Mission Vale campus. And I want to say to the Vice-Chancellor, to academia, to this university, that our medical school at Mission Vale is one of the best and will deliver the best that not only this country will see, but the world will see. From this corner, and amidst the area that the Mission Vale campus is in, it will give the kids in the surrounding hope, because it will indeed ensure that out of the communities surrounding that campus, we will see the best from this continent. And that will happen, and you've made it possible. And I am going to conclude at this point by indicating that I will place a bit of a burden on those of you graduating. So we will look forward to your active participation as alumni with this university as we continue our collective work as an engaged university in the service of society to change the world. And we would like to see you out there changing the world in so many ways. So I wish all our graduates well as you journey forth to wherever the next phase of your life takes you. I trust you will retain an identity that clearly defines you as a graduate of Nelson Mandela University. It's not a name that is just dropped from nowhere. It's going to be a heavy mantle to carry, but a proud one. I thank you.
I believe that I was born for greatness. I will stand and fight for all my dreams. I never thought my journey would be painless, but I found that life is harder than it seems. See, I believe that I had found a family. I believe that it would be forever. It seemed as though I found my perfect fit. I wasn't ready for the storm that came after. Yeah, kwanzima, kodwa ixesha liyapilisa. I'm gonna fight back, not gonna give up. I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna stand up. Yeah, yeah, kwanzima, kodwa ixesha liyapilisa. I'm gonna fight back, not gonna give up. I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna stand up. Stand up and take back my power. Inside my veins, power. Inside my heart, power. Inside my veins, power. Ngamandla, ngamandla, oh ngamandla, ngaphakathi kwami. deserved all of the pain. If all my sweat was all in vain, well, I survived through all the rain to see the sun shining again. All I did, all I gave wasn't enough for when you got greedy. Wafuna yonkindo. Told you dissolve kumelela. You tried to bury me. I said no sulu bulega. Right now I'm breaking free. Kwanze kwanzima. Kodwa yiklesha liya pilisa. I'm gonna fight back. Not gonna give up. I'm gonna rise up. I'm gonna stand up. Yeah, yeah. Kwanze kwanzima. Kodwa yiklesha liya pilisa. I'm gonna fight back. Not gonna give up. I'm gonna rise up. I'm gonna stand up. Stand up and take back my power. I'm gonna take back my power. I'm gonna take back my power. I'm gonna take back my power. Come on, come on, I'm gonna take back my power. I'm gonna take back my power.
I think we should give them a round of applause. It's part of our virtual circumstances. I think those of us who have heard them before knows that it's absolutely spectacular. Our choir, the Nelson Mandela University Choir. We shall now, honored guests, proceed with the awarding of qualifications. And I now request the candidates present in the hall to take up their positions. I request the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Education, Dr. Muki Mweng, to present the candidates for the respective qualifications.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the master's degrees on the candidates who have completed their respective qualifications during the past academic year.
I confer the master's degrees as requested.
Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree Masters of Education, Research. Melandre Roberts. Madam Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of master's degrees in the Faculty of Education.
I request the Acting Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, the Built Environment and Technology, Professor Darrell van Greenen, to present the candidates for the respective qualifications during the past academic year.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the master's degrees on the candidates who have completed their respective qualifications.
I confer the master's degrees as requested.
Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree Masters of Engineering in Mechatronics Research, Zamile Mpeta. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Masters of Information Technology Research, Sandisiwe Mahonga. Okuhle Ngada, cum laude. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Masters of Philosophy in Information Technology Governance coursework, Sikumbuze Koza, Tembakazi Mbango, Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree Masters of Science in Construction Management Research. Madam Chancellor, the degree is conferred cum laude on Ashwin Manga. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Science in the Built Environment coursework, Estina Chipato. Nosikumbuzo Gastile. Jan Gous. Liziwe Mabandla. Bekani Madjibi. Tabo Magala. Mamakwa Mekua. Nomveliso Menze. Lerato Moshanyama. Tabani Moyo. Yolanda Ntalavani. Nozuko Ntanjana. Tobile Nzimande. Panache Sabeta. Refilwe Sebotoma. Llewellyn Wolji. Kanyiso Kayo. Madam Vice-Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of master's degree in the Faculty of Engineering, the Built Environment and Technology.
I request the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Zukiswa Zingilela, to present the candidates for the respective qualifications.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the master's degrees of the candidates who have completed their respective qualifications during the past academic year.
I confer the master's degrees as requested.
Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology, coursework. My apologies. My sincere apologies. I've got my voice back. Okay. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree, Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology coursework. We've got Corbus Dutoy. Madam Chancellor, Vuyokazi Yolanda Fihla. Bridget Sinetlanhla Msani. Lutho Ntaluba. Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree of Masters of Arts in Counseling Psychology coursework, Pindile Madondo. Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree of Master of Human Movement Research, Robert Joshua Knipp. Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree of Master of Nursing coursework, Sibongile Alicia Elizabeth Ntleko. Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree of Master of Nursing Research, Ayanda Mlacha. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Pharmacy Research, Lauren Grace Faith Campbell. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Social Work Research. My apologies. We also have for the Master of Pharmacy Research, Maxine Skuman. And then Master of Social Work Research, Mzoli Mavimbela, cum laude. Nightingale Ritabile Moletsane. Luvuyo Teko, cum laude. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Technology Radiography Research, Lynn Van Vogel. Antoinette Edwards. Madam Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of master's degrees in Faculty of Health Sciences.
I request the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Professor Azwendini Muronga, to present the candidates for the respective qualifications.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the master's degrees on the candidates who have completed their respective qualifications during the past academic year.
I confer the master's degrees as requested.
Madam Chancellor, a candidate for the degree Master of Commerce. Faith Moyo, cum laude. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Science, Research. Kolisile Dingisai. Cleopatra Dube. Eileen Joste, cum laude. Coriana Yuli. Shane Keen. Tulisile Kunjwa. Siphumelele Majodina, cum laude. Chirezi Mawungu. Hasakile Makama, cum laude. Kerry Moss, cum laude. Mbokazi Ngayeka. Mpabaleng Ramonwele. Tebogo Sibake, Hermanas Swanepoel, Sam Tanyi, Malibongwe Twani cum laude. Madam Chancellor, candidates for the degree Master of Science in Nanoscience coursework, Aruani Guga, Nazi Machiti, Carla Scholz, Itumeleng Zosela cum laude. Madam Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of master's degrees in the Faculty of Science.
Decades of living and you are here, still breathing. Decades of being and you are here, today reaping rewards.
Lump in your throat, heavy-eyed, heart racing. You're nervous, but no longer of the assignment deadlines overdue or tests starting in 5 minutes. The world lies before you and how daunting that is.
But
You can change the world.
unguqhinebe, uguququ, uzithonge ezithathu. Into yathi yakubona ugqirha nojwarha bexhensa, bexhininika, bexakekile, bexela oqame eludakeni. Yamisa indlu yathi, yimani bobawo, asiyo lena indlela.
Indeed,
You can change the world.
jy kom van proewe wat daagliks jou rede beproef. Opofferings wat jou sys maak totdat die messelaar steen op steen bou met hoop. Die stille stem wat saggies passies in jou aansteek totdat die beeld van Mandela voor jou verskyn. Jy is die oplossing.
Yet,
You can change the world.
go forth thankfully. Thank those who have come before you, paving the way to your success. This is their day too.
Go forth, resolute, stating claims over your future, not forgetting that those who come after you, that this too is their day.
Go forth celebratory, accepting that all the triumph and the strife was painful, but that too is grace. This is your victory day.
Together, We can change the world.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause for that poem. I'd now like to request the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Professor Aswindini Muronga, to degrees.
Madam Chancellor, I have the privilege to present to you candidates for the doctoral degrees in the Faculty of Science. I request Dr. Adeniyi Ogunlaja and candidate Tendai Olsen Dembaremba to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Adeniyi Ogunlaja, the co-supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Tendai Olsen Dembaremba, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, with his thesis entitled Coordination Polymers for Denitrogenation of Fuel Oils. The study developed chemical strategies for improving the selectivity of coordination polymers for adsorption of nitrogen compounds from fuel oils before hydrodesulfurization. Nitrogen compounds complicate the processing, storage, and usage of fuel oils. Nitrogen oxides are also emitted into the atmosphere upon combustion of fuel oils containing nitrogen compounds, causing devastating effect on the environment and human health. The coordination polymer developed showed very good selectivity and adsorption capacities for basic nitrogen compounds. Further tests are now being carried out on real fuel feeds at SASOP to access industrial applicability with the possibility of patenting the work.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry on Tendai Olsen Dembaremba.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry on Tendai Olsen Dembaremba. Congratulations.
I request Prof. Thomas Bondman and candidate Kolisa Dlomo to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Prof. Thomas Bondman, the co-supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kolisa Dlomo, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Oceanography, with his thesis entitled Ocean Structures and Dynamics of Two Open Bays on the Eastern Agulhas Bank. Upwelling bay-scale currents, fronts, and mixing in Algoa Bay and St. Francis Bay occur over both short and long time periods. These physical ocean dynamics drive the temporal and spatial distribution of nutrients in the bays, thereby influencing primary and secondary production. Thermal gradients and fronts are driven by the wind and open ocean influences such as the Agulhas current, daily and seasonal variations in solar radiation, long and short period waves, air-sea fluxes, coastal trapped waves, and terrestrial freshwater inflow. These phenomena are poorly understood along this part of the coastline, and this thesis significantly improved our understanding of these regionally and globally important coupled ocean climate processes.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Oceanography on Kolisa Dlomo.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Oceanography on Kolisa Dlomo. Congratulations, Doctor.
I request Dr. Jack O'Connell and candidate Justin Michael Downey to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Jack O'Connell, the co-supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Justin Michael Downey, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Physics, with his thesis entitled The Effect of Silicon on Palladium Migration in Pyrolytic Carbon and Graphite. This thesis focuses on the evaluation of an advanced fuel particle design for high-temperature gas-cooled nuclear reactors. pebble bed nuclear reactors. Apologies. PBRs use graphite fuel spheres filled with thousands of small fuel particles in which uranium fuel is covered by layers of carbon and silicon carbide. To improve the performance and safety of the PBR, the release of a radioactive fission product, an isotope of silver, must be prevented. Since the fission product palladium enhances the diffusion rate of silver in silicon carbide, the advanced fuel particle uses palladium traps in the carbon layers to prevent palladium and silver from penetrating the silicon carbide. The results of the study indicate that silicon effectively traps palladium in graphite at 1,400 degrees Celsius for 24 hours.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Physics on Justin Michael Downey.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Physics on Justin Michael Downey.
I request candidate Daniela Alice Douglas Henry to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Jack O'Connell, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Danielle Alice Douglas Henry, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Physics, with her thesis entitled Microstructural Characterization of Swift Heavy Ion-Induced Rotation in Single Crystal Nickel Oxide. Since the advent of high-energy heavy ion accelerators in the 1960s, the quest for a fundamental understanding of energy deposition and material relaxation in targets exposed to such irradiation has been ongoing. Recently, in 2005, it was discovered that off-normal high-energy heavy ion irradiation causes crystal rotation in certain materials. Authors of this work had only indirect evidence of this rotation and was not able to determine the microstructural processes responsible. For the current study, single crystal nickel oxide was irradiated at 45 degrees off-normal with high-energy gold ions. Nickel oxide was chosen for its highly symmetric sodium chloride structure, excellent radiation stability, and high rotation rate during irradiation. A depth result study of irradiation-induced crystal rotation was performed using selected area electron diffraction, electron backscatter diffraction, and transmission Kikuchi diffraction. High-resolution transmission electron microscopy was used to study the fluence-dependent ion track morphology in this material. The results led to the publication of the first ever detailed description of the morphology of heavy ion tracks in nickel oxide in both the non-overlapping and overlapping track regime. Moreover, a model was proposed to explain the observed crystal rotation in terms of the relevant crystal slip systems, low-energy dislocation structures, and irradiation-induced stresses with direct evidence obtained through electron microscopy.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Physics on Daniele Alice Douglas Henry.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Physics on Danielle Alice Douglas Henry.
I request Dr. Adeniyi Ogunlaja and candidate Nokutula Ethel Magida to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Adeniyi Ogunlaja, the co-supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Nokutula Ethel Magida, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry, with her thesis entitled Coal and Microalgae Biomass Co-Firing on Carbon Dioxide, Sulfur Oxide, and Nitrous Oxide Emission and Experimental Evaluation. This doctoral study entails the understanding of possible interactions occurring during co-combustion of coal and Cynodesmus microalgae, known as coalgae, with the aim of determining the effect of co-firing coal and Cynodesmus microalgae on greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide, and nitrous oxide emission. Findings indicated that the interaction of microalgae slurry onto the coal fines enhanced the chemical characteristics and thermal reactivity of coal and reduced the emission levels of carbon dioxide, sulfur oxides, and nitrous oxide, up by 31.4%, 15.8%, and 26.1% respectively. Moreover, the combustion efficiency increased significantly by up to 14.5% from baseline coal. The coalgae blend showed a synergistic effect due to different combustion characteristics of coal and Cynodesmus microalgae. The research findings suggest that coalgae blends can be considered as an alternative fuel in any coal-driven process for energy generation. 2 research articles have been published from this study.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry on Nokutula Ethel Magida.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry on Nokutula Ethel Magida.
I request Dr. Richard Betts and candidate Polani Sakile Manana to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Richard Betts, the supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Polani Sakile Manana, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry with his thesis entitled The Synthesis, Empirical and Theoretical Studies of Various Nitrogen-Boron Diaryl Boronate Esters. Potential artificial photosynthesis compounds were synthesized from various diaryl boronate esters obtained from the condensation of boronic acid with nitrogen-containing substrates such as ethanolamine, amino acids, 2-pyridyl-methanol, as well as 2-ethyl aminoethanol. These compounds were characterized structurally by means of diffraction studies based on single crystals and found to constitute chelate esters and amides featuring covalent boron-oxygen and dative nitrogen-boron bonds. The nitrogen-boron bond length was used to estimate the strength of these boron compounds and to determine both the physical and chemical properties. Furthermore, DFT calculations were performed to corroborate and correlate the experimental findings, resulting in a 13-carbon chemical shifts increment system.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry on Polani Sakile Manana.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Chemistry on Polani Sakile Manana. Congratulations, Doctor.
I request Dr. Arno Janse van Vieren and candidate Sinoyolo Ngongo to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Arno Janse van Vieren, the co-supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Sinoyolo Ngongo, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Physics, with his thesis entitled corrosion and hydrogen-resistant modified Zerlo surfaces for nuclear fuel cladding. Nanocrystalline diamond and chromium-doped zirconium oxide are used in a study as surface protection of Zerlo against corrosion and hydrogen pickup, respectively. Identification of these two surface protection layers on Zerlo was due to the mechanical and chemical properties when exposed to the nuclear reactor environment. This study was able to synthesize, characterize, and test the Zerlo modified surfaces. The results showed significant potential for resistance to corrosion and hydrogen pickup by Zerlo.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Physics on Sinoyolo Ngong.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Physics on Sinoyolo Ngongo.
I request Dr. Lorraine Pichegru to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Lorraine Pichegru, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Katharina Roche, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Zoology, with a thesis entitled Foraging Ecology of Kelp Gulls in Natural and Anthropogenetically Modified Environment. Global changes, especially through the availability of anthropogenic food resources, can favor generalist species, such as the kelp gull, leading to increased population numbers. The aim of this thesis was to investigate the foraging ecology and health of kelp gulls in South Africa from 7 breeding colonies with varying proximity to landfills. We used GPS deployments, diet sampling, and stable isotope analysis, as well as body condition indices and parasite loads. Colonies differed in their foraging movement and their diet, showing high foraging flexibility during incubation, but more specialized foraging during chick rearing. However, adult kelp gulls and their chicks were of similar health across colonies with low parasite loads. This thesis showed that kelp gulls are winner of global changes. They're able to exploit various foraging habitats with seemingly little effect on their health while breeding, allowing them to successfully maintain their population.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Zoology on Katharina Roach.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Zoology on Katharina Roche.
I request Dr. Charlene Govender and candidate Kathleen Elizabeth Sprong to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Charlene Govender, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Caitlin Elizabeth Sprong, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Microbiology, with her thesis entitled Ureaplasma Species in the Placenta and Histopathology Associated with Preterm Birth. This doctoral research investigated placentas delivered from women with high-risk pregnancies in a tertiary referral hospital. The presence of Ureaplasma species bacteria and distinct microbial diversity detected using next-generation sequencing in the placenta was associated with preterm birth. The pathology identified by histology emphasizes the need for placental histology in all preterm births. This work extends the body of knowledge within the field of ureaplasmology, with adverse pregnancy outcomes. The findings have been published nationally and internationally while making a significant contribution in the field of histopathology, obstetrics, and gynecology.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Microbiology on Kathleen Elizabeth Sprong.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Microbiology on Caitlin Elizabeth Sprong. Congratulations, Doctor.
I request Prof. Brenda Scholz and candidate Anthea Vivian van der Hogen to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Prof. Brenda Scholz, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the candidate Anthea Vivian van der Hogen for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science. Her thesis is titled A Value Alignment Smart City Stakeholder Model. Her research addressed the challenges that prevent the creation of value for smart city initiatives and stakeholders in developing countries, specifically for those initiatives that focus on the data value chain. A theoretical value alignment smart city stakeholder model, the VASCS model, was designed and was applied to smart city initiatives in 2 cases in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa, namely the Nelson Mandela Bay and Buffalo City. The drivers identified for these initiatives were primarily cost reduction, data and system integration, and quality assurance. The main benefits cited by participants were provision of infrastructure, education, and training and digitalization. The challenges related to data access were a lack of access to resources, problems with service delivery, a lack of technical skills, and an increasing digital and physical divide. These challenges negatively impact decision-making and service delivery to citizens. The VASCS model can be used for smart city projects to plan related initiatives more effectively, improve value and the quality of life to all the stakeholders. The researcher produced 5 publications, of which 1 received the Best Paper Award. The research has also received many citations. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Computer Science on Anthea Vivian van der Hogen.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Computer Science on Anthea Vivian van der Hogen. Congratulations, Doctor.
I request Prof. Mandy Lombard and candidate Estie Ann Vermeulen to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Prof. Mandy Lombard, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Estie Ann Vermeulen, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Oceanography, with her thesis entitled Applying a Systems Analysis Approach to Support Marine Spatial Planning in Algoa Bay, South Africa. A healthy marine environment is central to the ecosystem-based management approach and is recommended for achieving sustainable development outcomes in marine spatial planning. Now, Algoa Bay is a complex social ecological marine space It hosts a range of marine uses that are closely interconnected with the health of the marine system. Future trajectories of marine uses and related marine sustainability goals are developing according to the shifting needs of various sectors that operate in the Bay. This study explored these trends and the underlying feedback effects driving the change through an exploratory system dynamics model, which ASTI called the ALGOA Marine Systems Analysis Tool. And this tool tested the efficacy of potential management interventions under alternate scenarios to achieve long-term goals for marine sustainability. And the thesis has also recently been awarded the best university something or other, global something or other, best thesis for meeting sustainable development goals. So congrats, ASTI.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Oceanography on St. Anne Vermeulen.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Oceanography on St. Anne Vermeulen. Congratulations, Doctor.
Madam Chancellor, this concludes the awarding of qualifications in the Faculty of Science.
I now request the Executive Dean, the Faculty of Education, Dr. Muki Mweng, to present candidates for the doctoral degrees.
Madam Chancellor, I have the privilege to present to you candidates for the doctoral degrees in the Faculty of Education. I request Professor Logamurti Atimulam and candidate Edward Masembe to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Professor Logamurti Atimulam, the supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Edward Masembe, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Education with his thesis entitled Using Communicative Strategies to Facilitate Luganda Language Teaching and Learning in Authentic Contexts. The purpose of the study was to explore how teachers could promote interactive teaching and learning of the Luganda language by implementing communicative strategies for enhanced learning. Through the application of a participatory action research design using the qualitative approach, data were elicited from participant reflective sessions, participant observation, field reference notes, and participant reflective journals. The rich accumulated data from multiple sources were analyzed inductively through the implementation of a multi-layered participatory approach to data analysis. The findings indicated that through the participants' exposure to a variety of communicative strategies, they were eager to implement such interactive strategies in their classes for authentic learning. Furthermore, the application of a participatory approach to learning enabled the participants to become aware of the significance of learner-centered approaches and how these could be implemented creatively and authentically as part of their praxis.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Education on Edward Masembe.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Education on Edward Masembe.
I request Professor Paul Webb and candidate Ayanda Simai to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Professor Paul Webb, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Ayanda Simai, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Education, with her thesis entitled A Culturally Responsive Strategy for Teaching Sexual Concepts in Rural Xhosa Secondary Schools. This study investigated issues of taboo language use when teachers are teaching topics of a sexual nature during secondary school biology. A professional development strategy was framed on Aguni's contiguity augmentation theory and the grade 12 life sciences curriculum. A culturally structured indigenized teaching strategy was developed by the teachers and used to teach the menstrual cycle. Bakhtin's theory of heteroglossia was used to explain different Xhosa terms used for sexual arguments. The study claims that using contiguity augmentation theory and Bakhtin's explanations of heteroglossia provide an effective professional development intervention in a deeply culturally determined Xhosa community.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Education on Ayanda Simai.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy Education on Ayanda Simai.
I request Dr. Christo Pinar and candidate Chantel Emerina van Niekerk to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Dr. Christo Pinar, the supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Chantel Emerina van Niekerk, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Education, with a thesis entitled Supportive Guiding Principles for the Conversion of Mainstream Schools into Full-Service Schools. This qualitative interpretive study deals with the concerns relating to the conversion of mainstream schools into full-service schools in our current inclusive educational system. It makes an innovative and pioneering contribution to the scholarly field of inclusive education by presenting guiding principles for all stakeholders involved in this conversion. The study addresses the knowledge gap regarding this conversion in the field of education and in the field of inclusive education. The theoretical frameworks for the study are Bronfenbenner's ecosystemic theory and Vygotsky's constructivist theory. The findings culminate in suggested guiding principles to all stakeholders represented by the different levels and systems of the ecosystems that are involved in this conversion.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy Education on Chantel Emerina van Niekerk.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy Education on Chantel Emerina van Niekerk.
Madam Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of qualifications in the Faculty of Education.
I request the Acting Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Professor Darrell van Greenen, to present the candidates for the doctoral degrees.
Madam Chancellor, I have the privilege to present to you candidates for the doctoral degrees in the Faculty of Engineering, the Built Environment and Technology. I request Professor John Smallwood to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Professor John Smallwood, the co-supervisor of the candidate, to present her to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Shad Sharon Jatau, a candidate for the degree of Philosophy Construction Management, with her thesis entitled Modeling How Workers' Shared Perception of Health and Safety Influences Safe Work Performance. The thesis elicits responses to the question, can workers' shared perception of health and safety influence their safe work performance? The study developed an improved safety performance model which seeks to bridge an identified knowledge gap evident in the availability of literature reports on quantitative safety climate studies conducted around the globe and a dearth of similar reports from developing countries such as sub-Saharan Africa. A comparative analysis of data collected from construction professionals from Nigeria and South Africa was adopted using an explanatory sequential mixed methods research design where a total of 255 statistical data and 25 textual data were submitted. The Nordic Occupational Safety Climate Questionnaire was modified for quantitative data collection, while textual data was mediated through interviews built upon the results of the questionnaire to probe and foster a better understanding of the subject and of data analysis. This was done statistically and thematically, with a model developed based on the findings. The model revealed the need for visible safety behavior among top management workers and the use of appropriate methods for safety knowledge transfer among construction workers. The study also identified a gap in the absence of a safety justice system. It concludes that the responsibility for improved H&S compliance in construction still rests on management, as their H&S behavior communicates a level of priority which workers may adopt. Recommendations include a call for collaborative, interdisciplinary research from other related domains to extend a robust body of knowledge on the subject area, especially relating to the health of workers.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Construction Management on Chad Sharon Jatau.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Construction Management on Chad Sharon Jatau.
I now request Professor Khaled Abu El Hussein to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Professor Khaled Abu El Hussein, the supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Shahrukh Hatifi, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Mechatronics, with his thesis entitled Hybrid Single Point Diamond Turning Process for Ultra-High Precision of Titanium Alloy. Single point diamond turning is the leader technology for ultra-high precision of optical products, with optical surface roughness down to 1 nanometer. The SPDT products have a wide range of applications in different fields of industry, including biomedical, space science, military, defense, and other advanced engineering applications. However, there are limitations associated with the state-of-the-art technology. Diamond turning of hard-to-cut materials, including titanium alloys, is problematic. Titanium is a widely used material, however, it has low machinability with diamond technology. High tool wear and optical surface roughness are the major limitation in diamond turning of titanium. The purpose of this study was to design and develop a hybrid single-point diamond turning platform for cutting titanium alloys. By design and development of non-conventional machining techniques, as well as on-machine metrology solutions, the outcome of diamond turning process has been improved. Applying non-conventional machining techniques can improve the machining conditions. The result of this experimental study have revealed that using non-conventional machining techniques can significantly improve the machining results in terms of quality of optical surface generation. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Mechatronics, on Shahrukh Hatifi.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Engineering, Mechatronics on Shahrukh Hatifi.
I request candidate Peter Babatunde Odede to come forward, please. Madam Chancellor, I request Professor Khaled Abu El Hussein, the supervisor of the candidate, to present him to the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I present to the congregation Peter Babatunde Odede, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Mechatronics, with the thesis entitled Ultra-High Precision Machining of Rapidly Solidified Aluminium, RSA, for Optics. The purpose of this study is to carry out ultra-high precision machining on rapidly solidified aluminium for optics. The advancement of ultra-high precision techniques is one of the most adaptable machining processes. In the manufacturing of heavy of very complex and high-quality surface structures for industrial, medical, aerospace, and communication applications. Studies have shown that single-point diamond turning has an outstanding ability to machine high-quality optical components at a nanometrical scale. However, in a responsive cutting process, the nanometric machinability of these optical components can easily be affected by several factors. Therefore, a comprehensive scientific understanding of the nano-cutting mechanics is critical, especially in the modeling and analysis of cutting forces, surface roughness, chip formation, acoustic emission, material removal rates, and molecular dynamic simulation of rapidly solidified alloys. To bridge the gap from fundamental research to industrial applications, this study shows that RSA alloys are the materials of choice for the manufacture of optical mold inserts, which yield high surface quality that can be used in electronics, military space, communication, and medical devices. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Mechatronics on Peter Babatunde Odedeo.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Mechatronics on Peter Babatunde Adediye. Congratulations, Doctor.
Madam Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of qualifications in the Faculty of Engineering, the Built Environment and Technology.
I now request the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Zukiswa Zingile, to present the candidates for the doctoral degrees.
Madam Chancellor, Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the degrees Doctor of Philosophy in General Health Sciences, and I call upon Professor S.F. Burton and candidate Terry Lynn Fogarty to come to the stage. Madam Chancellor, I request Supervisor, Professor S.F. Burton, to present Terry Lynn Fogarty, candidate for Doctor of Philosophy in General Health Sciences.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and privilege to present Terry Lynn Fogarty, a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, General Health Sciences. With her study entitled Pharmacy Support Personnel, Qualifications and Scope of Practice Needs, the South African Experience. Terry Lynn determined if qualifications for pharmacy support personnel in South Africa have provided the knowledge and practical skills required by the prescribed scope of practice. Her study adopted a mixed methods approach in the pragmatic paradigm and was structured around the theoretical framework of the intended, the enacted, and the experienced curricula proposed by EBET. Terry Lynn established that qualification changes should not be one-dimensional, and in addition to responding to changes in legislation, stakeholder needs should be considered, and the potential effects on both providers and learners should be considered. The study has provided valuable insight into the education and training of pharmacy support personnel in South Africa, and furthermore, it contributes to the development of education and training of support personnel globally. With support personnel training being informal in many countries around the world and needing to move to more formal training, the recommendations from this study are valuable in guiding regulators and training providers in the development of qualifications and curricula for pharmacy support personnel.
Madam Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, General Health Sciences, to Terry Lynn Fogarty.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, General Health Sciences on Terry Lynn Fogarty.
Madam Chancellor, I call upon Sophia Emerentia Marsh to come to the stage for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in General Sciences. I will be presenting Sophia Emerentia Marsh for conferring of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in General Sciences, Health Sciences, with the thesis towards National Health Technology Assessment for Medicines in South Africa, data requirements and status of health-related quality of life research. Recommendations were made for evidence generation and activities supporting national health technology assessment in the public health sector, focusing on health-related quality of life data for cost utility analysis. The study is the first to evaluate this aspect as a South African research field, the existing local data's applicability to CUAs, and the instruments used. The South African guidelines for pharmacoeconomic submissions were deemed appropriate for full HTA. However,
Observational cross-sectional studies, which are unlikely to support CUA, dominated the data, and few were using HRQOL instruments suitable for CUA, and few have been adequately translated into local languages. Encouragingly, most research involves South African-based researchers and institutions. Madam Chancellor, I request for you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, General Health Sciences, to Sophia Emerentia Marsh.
I confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy, General Health Sciences on Sophia Emerentia Marsh. Congratulations.
Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the Doctor of Philosophy degree, Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology, to Garrett Christopher Barnwell, and I will also be presenting him to the congregation. Dear congregation, I have the privilege of presenting Garrett Christopher Barnwell, whose thesis is on a multiple case study exploration into community members' eco-psychological responses to environmental degradation in South Africa. This doctoral study's aim is to explore community members' reactions and responses to different forms of environmental degradation in South Africa by analyzing 2 case studies in Rustenburg in the Northwest Province and in Limpopo Province, Vembe District. The qualitative case studies relied on placed individual and focus group interviews. The findings of the study were presented in this doctoral thesis, which consisted of 5 peer-reviewed publications. The study demonstrated the interconnectedness between histories of colonialism, land injustice, and environmental degradation that contribute to the intergenerational psychological distress. In response, grassroots community organizing groups play a critical role in addressing the resulting cumulative environmental harms through place-based resistance and dialogical resurgence. Moreover, the study suggests that critical psychologies have important roles to play in supporting land and environmental justice struggles. Madam Chancellor, I request you to confer the Doctoral of Philosophy degree, Psychology, to Garrett Christopher Barnwell.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology on Garrett Christopher Barnwell.
Madam Chancellor, this concludes the conferring of qualifications in the Faculty of Health Sciences.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the proceedings. On behalf of the congregation, I wish to thank our graduates, parents, and other guests for their interest in the university and for their presence at this graduation ceremony. I'd also like to thank those who have joined us virtually today. I wish to take this moment to thank our academic and administrative staff, as well as the performers, for their respective contributions. As I stated at the opening of this graduation ceremony, we've been through a difficult period, and it's taken the extraordinary efforts of a number of people to make this happen today, and I thank them for that. By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor of the University, I now declare this congregation dissolved. I request the congregation to stand for the singing of the national anthem and to remain standing while the academic procession leaves the hall.
Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyiswa uphondo lwayo, yizwa imithandazo yethu, Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo, morena buluka setšhaba sa Yesu, o fedise dintwa le matshwenyego, se boloke setšhaba sa Yesu, setšhaba sa South Africa, South Africa. Die blauw van ons hemel, die diepte van ons Heer, waar ons ewige gebegtes, waar die krans sy antwoord gee. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Thank you.